So, art block. I went through art block a few months ago, so I decided that I should clean up and organize my Procreate folders, to see if I would actually get inspired to draw something. Now, would I say it worked? No, but it did give me the idea for this video, which I then procrastinated to make for another month. But I'm done procrastinating, and you read the title, so I'm gonna be redrawing my old Danganronpa fan art from 2023. Before we get any further, I just want to give a quick spoiler warning for the Danganronpa games, as well as trigger warnings for talk about child abuse, bullying, and abuse in general. Alright, let's get into the video. So I originally made this drawing during Goretober in 2023. I was really hyperfixating on Danganronpa at the time, so I was drawing different Danganronpa characters with each daily prompt, though I gave up after day 4. Since I was still at boarding school at the time, I found it difficult having to spend time with friends while drawing a new piece every day. But here are the ones that I did end up finishing. Going into the redraw, I knew that I wanted to get the perspective a little more right, as I've been trying to practice perspective a lot recently. It was a little challenging at first, but while looking for references, I kept seeing people use Minecraft to help with the perspective of rooms, so I decided to give it a try. And honestly, it did help a little. Sketching the background was definitely the quickest part, and I really enjoyed it, but I did struggle a little bit with placing the sink. As well as practicing perspective, I've also been practicing anatomy, and it's really been helping. Getting the shapes down for this drawing was a lot easier than it's been before, but I was really having a hard time with the right arm, as you can see throughout the entire process. Now, I should probably explain a bit about the original piece. I couldn't find the prompt list that I used that year, but I do remember that the prompt for this one was nosebleed. So I drew Kazuichi looking at himself in the mirror with his nose bleeding, seeing his past self giving him some sort of flashbacks to his childhood. Now, if that didn't make any sense, let me go over his backstory. This does include the triggers that I listed in the intro, so if you don't want to hear it, please skip to this time. Kazuichi grew up poor, running a bike shop with his dad, though they never really sold anything. He was picked on at school for being skittish, and on top of that, he talks about his dad beating him in one of his free time events. Having a rough childhood and getting bullied constantly, both by people at school and his dad, he got fed up and changed his appearance, coloring his hair, getting rid of his glasses, and putting on a tough punkish facade, which he keeps breaking, as well as sharpening his teeth, which is insane. He's definitely one of my favorite characters in the entire Danganronpa franchise, which is odd because I feel like he's kind of hated, but Going back to the drawing though, my favorite part of this drawing, and just all drawing in general, is coloring and shading / rendering. I've really been having a lot of fun with it lately, but I did struggle a lot with it in this specific drawing. I think it's because I decided to use a cooler color for the background, which I'm not really used to, as my art usually revolves around the warmer color palettes. So after finishing the drawing, I did find it hard to figure out what color filter I should put over it. Looking back on the speed paint, I can definitely tell that the arm is angled very wrong, and I'm not really happy with the final piece, which admittedly is a bit annoying, but I might go back and redraw this again in a few years and fix it. But anyway, here's the drawing all finished up. And on to the next one. I made this drawing during my summer break in between my boarding school years, so around late July to early August, which was right at the start of my rehyperfixation on the franchise. I remember I was watching a 3-hour-long video essay on the timeline while making it, and as soon as I finished it, I immediately ran to Discord to send it to my friends because I was very proud of it. The drawing in itself isn't even that bad, it's just the background that really doesn't match anything, which I guess makes sense since I did do that drawing in one sitting and I was very tired and got lazy at the end. I started off sketching with no references, which was a mistake because it did not turn out the way I wanted it to. So I pulled out Pinterest and found a pose that was similar to the original drawing and also what I was imagining. I knew I wanted to change the hair since I thought it looked really flat and almost wet-like, so I ended up making it shorter and more choppy while taking inspiration from different Mikan cosplayers. I also changed up her expression since I thought she looked a little bit too flustered and I wanted her to look more deranged and insane. I've started keeping my line art relatively sketchy since I'd rather spend more time on the coloring and rendering process. And also just because I find doing really clean line art boring and time consuming. I think it's about time to explain about this drawing. Again, this will include the different triggers that I listed in the intro, so skip to this time if you don't want to hear about it. So this drawing portrays Mikan after being brainwashed by Junko. As a side effect of the brainwashing, mixed with her having a generally affection-seeking personality, it made her develop a psychological love-like obsession with her. She convinces herself that she enjoys the abuse that Junko puts her through, since she's getting the attention she craves from the person she's craving it from. Mikan claims that Junko loves her, but it's clear that it's 100% one-sided, and that Junko only uses her as a tool to wreak despair. Now, unlike the Kazuichi drawing, I really loved the final piece. I was considering scrapping it because I wasn't enjoying the rendering process as much as I usually do, but I'm so glad I ended up finishing it. I was kinda going blank on what I should do for the background, since I was not gonna do the same type of background that I did on the 2023 version, so I ended up running to Pinterest, again, and found some pictures with a bunch of text that I thought was really fitting. I ended up just throwing some color filters over it and called it a day. Is it a bit lazy? Yes, but had I already spent 10 hours on the drawings in this video and just wanted to finish so I could write the script? Also yes. I had originally planned to do 3 drawings for this video, but it's been a week since I even started the first drawing and I'm not even into editing yet, so I'm gonna call it here. Overall, I enjoyed making this video. It's my first time ever doing a proper voiceover video, and I've had a lot of fun revisiting my art from 2023. If you've stayed for this long, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more content like this, you should totally subscribe. And also like the video. Anyway, that's all. Bye!